Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful season. So I wasn't planning on doing another video this month, but I just had a terrible realization. One of my favorite parts of Christmas growing up was the excitement of waiting for Santa Claus to come. But times have changed. Kids these days are growing up with phones and iPads. They're one Google search away from having the magic of Christmas ruined for them. Also, boo Google, where's your Christmas spirit? And if you look up Santa sightings on YouTube, this is the best they have. That's not gonna cut it with today's kids. So I'm gonna use my VFX skills to keep the spirit of Christmas alive and make a Santa sighting that would fool the big man himself. But I'm filming this on the 23rd and I wanna get this video out before Christmas, so I don't have any time to lose. Alright, so I'm basically gonna approach this shot like a UFO sighting, so I've got this footage that I filmed up on my roof a while back. Also, since I'm in such a time crunch, I'm not scripting this part, so if I'm a bit more rambly than usual, that's why. So first off, even though I filmed this on a tripod, there is a little bit of camera sag you can see. So I'm going to add a tracker. Also, quick tip, if you're zoomed in on your screen, you can hit Control F, that'll zoom you out to default. It's a nice little Christmas tip for you. All right, now I'm gonna bring this to something trackable in the scene. I think this looks pretty good. And I don't think I'll need rotation or scale for this, so I can just be good with the one tracker. I'm gonna change the adaptive mode to best match, bring down the tolerance a little bit, and just track that forward. All right, that track was slipping for me, so I'm going to delete that tracker and add another one. All right, I think this track should be usable. Now I'm gonna bring in Santa Claus himself. Since I don't have time to make like a 3D thing or anything like that, I'm just gonna use this picture of Santa Claus I got from pexels.com. Now I did take a screenshot of this because I was having trouble exporting it, but I can just add a rectangle mask and isolate that so we don't have the little thing at the bottom. Now I'm also going to add a luma key here to get rid of the white. I can invert that, and I'm gonna take our rectangle and plug that into the garbage mat. Now that gets rid of Santa, so I'm gonna invert that garbage mat. I'm still getting a little bit of halo around the reindeer, so maybe bring down the high slider. Yeah, that looks good. I'm gonna plug the luma key into the tracker right here, and in the tracker, I can change the operation to match move. Now it should move around with our footage. Now there's still a little bit of halo, so I think I'm gonna change the apply mode to multiply, and that gets rid of that. All right, so my idea is I'm gonna have them really small off in the distance, kind of moving across the screen like this. So I'm going to add a DVE node, and I bring up the Z move. That'll push it back so he looks smaller. I want him to be pretty small, so maybe something like 30. Yeah, that looks good. So I'm gonna bring him down to where I want him to come from. I think maybe over here. And I'll also give him a little bit more of a 3D look. I can play around with the Y rotation and bring the X up to match a little bit. So let's say, I don't want it to be going from the very beginning. I want it to look like it was filming a little bit before it caught Santa. So maybe, I don't know, 60 frames. I'll set a keyframe on the center. Then, you know what, I want him to take the whole shot to get to the end. Then I'll just drag him across the sky. I think I need to play around with the X rotation a little bit just to make him look like he's following the path a little better. Now he's moving across the sky, but it just looks like a picture, because it is just a picture. So I want to add just a little bit of movement to this. So let's bring my luma key to the screen. I'm going to use a tool called the waviness node. Bring that to the screen. So if I press play, you can see it's automatically animated. It's kind of warbly distortion look. I want to change the waviness type to horizontal and bring down the scale a little bit. So now it looks like they're kind of flapping in the wind. I only want the reindeer to be doing that though, so I'm gonna add a rectangle node and just isolate it to the reindeer. Then I can soft edge that a little bit. Now it doesn't quite line up because of the mask, but since it's gonna be really far off in the distance, I don't think it's gonna be too big of a deal. I do think I wanna bring up the speed a little bit though. Maybe I wanna bring up the strength a little bit too. Now it looks like the reindeer are kind of bobbing up and down like they're prancing through the air. I want to composite this in so that it looks more like it's there. So first off, I need to add a blur. I think that default looks pretty good. And I also want to add a sharpen. And I think I want to bring this down to, let's see, 0.3? Maybe 0.5. Now for intentionally bad footage like this, I also like to use the JPEG damage node, bring up the frequency scale, and bring up the resolution a bit, and bring up the quality. This is kind of the part where you really just have to fiddle around with it. Now to make them blend with the sky a little bit more, I'm going to add a merge node after everything. Hold shift and bring that between the two lines. Then I'm going to take our original footage, put that over the merge, and now Santa should disappear. But if I bring down the blend, now the color of the sky is kind of bleeding onto him. just so he looks more like he's in the footage a bit more. Now I want it to look like he's going behind all the things in the foreground, so I'm going to add a luma keyer, disconnected from everything, plug our footage into that. I'm gonna press A so I can see what the alpha channel is. I'm gonna hit invert, so whatever's white is gonna be solid and whatever's black is gonna be transparent. Then I'm just gonna play around until I get the things I want solid and everything else black. Now some of the sky is in it, but since he's not in that area of sky, I don't really need to worry about it. Now I can take this, plug this over the footage, so now he'll go behind everything. Now in the DVE node, in the settings, I'm gonna turn on motion blur and bring up the quality to, I don't know, maybe 4. And can I do the same in the waviness? And there we go! It could probably use a bit more polish, but for the time restraints I was under, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. If you want a more detailed explanation of what I did, I have a whole video on UFO footage that you can check out right here. Merry Christmas!